Hey, coin collectors! Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, and today we're diving into a coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now worth thousands, yes, thousands, or even millions of dollars. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that may look just like any other penny, but it's far more valuable than you might think. First, let's take a quick look at the basics. The 1972 Lincoln penny was minted during a significant period in American coinage history. This coin features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the famous Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Standard stuff, right? But here's where things get interesting. Most 1972 pennies have a mint mark on the reverse, either a D for Denver or a S for San Francisco. But the real jackpot here, and the reason why this coin is so special, is the 1972 no-mint mark penny. So, what makes the 1972 no-mint mark penny so rare? Well, in 1972, the US Mint was supposed to mint coins with a mint mark indicating where they were produced. However, some pennies, a small number, slipped through the cracks and were produced at the Philadelphia Mint without any mint mark at all. Normally, the Philadelphia Mint doesn't add a mint mark to their coins, but this year, they made a mistake. The result? A small number of 1972 pennies went into circulation without any mint mark, making them rare and highly sought after by collectors. Now, how many of these 1972 no-mint mark pennies are out there? That's the million-dollar question. While it's hard to get an exact number, estimates suggest that only around 10 to 20 coins were mistakenly produced this way. That makes them incredibly rare. Because these coins are so rare, they can be worth a lot of money. Even in lower grades, these coins can fetch thousands of dollars. But when you start looking at high-grade examples, the value skyrockets. How much are these coins actually worth? Well, it all comes down to the coin's condition. In general, a 1972 no-mint mark penny in good condition can be worth around $1,500 to $2,000. But if you have a high-grade example, let's say, in MS65 or better condition, we're talking a potential value of up to $10,000 or even more. And get this, at top-tier auctions, a perfect, gem-quality 1972 no-mint mark penny could break the $100,000 mark. So, how do you spot a 1972 no-mint mark penny? It's actually pretty simple, but it requires a keen eye. All you need to do is check the reverse side of the penny for the absence of a mint mark. If you see no D or S, then you might just be holding onto a piece of numismatic history. Now make sure you double-check the details. If the penny is heavily worn, or if it's a more common 1972 coin with a mint mark, you're not looking at the valuable no-mint mark variety. But if you have one, hold onto it tight. And speaking of 1972 pennies, it's worth noting that there are a few other errors from this year that can increase the value of your coin. For example, the 1972 double die obverse is another highly valuable variety. In this error, the date and the inscriptions on the obverse appear doubled due to a minting mistake. Though not as rare as the no-mint mark variety, a well-preserved 1972 double die obverse penny can also fetch thousands of dollars at auction. So, there you have it, the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. A small mistake made by the US Mint that turned into a goldmine for lucky collectors. If you have one of these coins, you could be holding onto a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin content. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you think you might have one of these 1972 no-mint mark pennies. 1973 D Lincoln penny, a coin that might be worth millions. That's right, millions of dollars. Stick around as we explore the incredible value of this seemingly humble penny. On the surface, the 1973 D penny may seem like just another coin, but it's got a special feature that makes it one of the most valuable pennies in the world. So, why could this coin be worth such a huge amount of money? Let's dive right into it. Let's start with the basics. The 1973 D Lincoln penny was minted in the United States at the Denver Mint, and it's part of the famous Lincoln Cent series. It features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, just like many of the pennies produced during the 20th century. But what makes the 1973 penny stand out? Well, for most people, the value of a regular 1973 penny is just 1 cent. It's still a common coin circulating today. But there are some rare and unique varieties that collectors are willing to pay big money for, and the 1973 is one of those. So, here's where it gets interesting. The 1973 Lincoln penny is famous for a minting error that occurred during production. This error involves a double die obverse, a rare mistake that happens when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned. What does that mean for you as a collector? Well, if you find a 1973 Lincoln penny with doubled lettering or a double date, you could be holding a multi-million-dollar coin. Check out these close-up images. If you look carefully, you'll notice that the letters and numbers have a double appearance. The doubling is most noticeable on the word Liberty and the date, 1973. These coins are often referred to as double die obverse 1973 Lincoln pennies and can be worth a small fortune. Now, let's talk rarity. The 1973 double die error is incredibly rare, with only a few known examples in existence. Not every 1973 penny has this error, so finding one is like stumbling upon a hidden treasure. In fact, these rare 1973 double die pennies have been sold for impressive amounts at auctions. Some have fetched prices anywhere between $100,000 and $1 million, depending on the condition and the degree of the error. So you can imagine, if you find one of these coins in your collection or pocket change, you could be holding a life-changing asset. Okay, so how do you know if your 1973 penny is one of these valuable double die errors? Here's a step-by-step guide to spotting the error. Look for doubling, where the letters or numbers appear as if they have been struck twice. This helps reveal even the smallest details of the coin's surface, making it easier to spot the doubled features. The higher the grade of the coin, the more valuable it will be. Coins in mint or near mint condition will be worth the most. Remember, the more obvious the doubling, the more valuable the coin is likely to be. While the double die obverse error is the star of the show, it's important to note that there are other varieties of the 1973 penny that may also hold value, though not quite as much. For example, some 1973 pennies exhibit minor die cracks, or unique imperfections that make them stand out to collectors. These coins aren't as valuable as the double die error, but they can still be worth a decent amount more than the standard penny. So, if you find a 1973 penny with a double die error, where can you sell it? There are a few options. You can take your coin to a local coin dealer, but for maximum value, you might want to auction it off at a reputable online auction house like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or even the American Numismatic Association's auction events. As for how much you can expect, it all depends on the condition, the prominence of the error, and market demand. But one thing's for sure, if you have one of these rare double die 1973 pennies, you could be holding a coin that's worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. Now that you know the incredible story of the 1973 Lincoln penny, it's time to check your own collections and pockets. Who knows? You could be the lucky person to find this million-dollar treasure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with all your fellow coin collectors. Let me know in the comments if you've ever come across any rare coins. I'd love to hear your stories. 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that could be worth millions. So, if you're a coin collector or just a casual viewer, make sure to stick around, because you won't believe how much this penny could be worth. Let's get started. The 1988 Lincoln penny is often overlooked by most collectors. After all, it's a penny, just another common coin. But what if I told you that there's a rare version of this penny, one with no mint mark, that could be worth more than you ever imagined? Before we talk about the rare version of this penny, let's take a quick step back in time. The 1988 penny was produced as part of the regular annual coinage for the US Mint, with a total of over 8 billion pennies struck that year. Most of these coins were made at the Philadelphia Mint, but you'll notice something important. Some of these pennies don't have any mint mark. Normally, you'd expect to see a D for the Denver Mint, or S for the San Francisco Mint, but the 1988 penny without a mint mark is a unique and intriguing anomaly. Why is this so significant? Well, the Philadelphia Mint typically produces coins without any mint mark, and these were meant to be regular circulation pennies. But every now and then, the US Mint strikes coins that end up being much rarer than they seem at first glance. Now, let's talk about why this particular 1988 penny can be worth so much. First of all, most of the 1988 pennies were mass-produced and are worth just 1 cent in regular circulation. However, the ones with no mint mark are incredibly rare. You see, the mint mark is missing because of a mistake at the minting process, which is why so few of these coins exist. That's right, a small number of these rare pennies were made with no mint mark, and collectors have gone crazy trying to get their hands on one. In fact, these pennies are now being sold for thousands of dollars. But here's the kicker, the condition of the coin matters a lot. A well-preserved, uncirculated 1988 penny with no mint mark could easily fetch a price of over $1 million. So, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1988 penny? It all comes down to the condition. If your penny is in mint state, that means it's in perfect condition with sharp details, no wear, and no corrosion, then it's worth way more than its face value. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher are usually the most valuable. But even if your coin isn't in perfect shape, it could still be worth a lot if it has that rare no mint mark feature. Coins in lower grades, like those with some wear, could still fetch a hefty price, anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. But the mint state coins, the pristine ones, are where the real money is. The market for rare pennies, especially ones from this particular year, has been booming. In recent years, auctions have seen bidding wars for these rare coins. If you get your hands on a no mint mark 1988 penny in great condition, you could potentially make a fortune by selling it to one of the many passionate collectors out there. Now, let's get real for a moment. If you think you have a rare 1988 penny, it's important to have it authenticated and graded by a professional. Fake coins are everywhere, and it's crucial to ensure that your coin is the real deal. To verify authenticity, you'll want to check for any signs that the coin has been tampered with or altered. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC will give your coin an official grade and ensure you know its true value. An authenticated coin with a high grade is a lot more valuable than one that hasn't been professionally certified. So, there you have it. The 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a rare and potentially valuable coin that could make you a lot of money, especially if you happen to have one in perfect condition. While most 1988 pennies are worth just 1 cent, if you find one of these rarities, you could be looking at a small fortune. Be sure to check your loose change, and if you think you have a valuable coin, get it looked at by a professional. 2060 Lincoln penny. You heard that right. A coin that's just under 2 decades old could be worth a fortune. But how and why? Let's find out. The 2060 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, and while most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, a rare few have gone on to sell for hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. So, what makes these pennies so special? To understand this, let's first talk about the Lincoln penny's history. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, but in 2006, something interesting happened. The US Mint introduced the Union Shield reverse design for the penny, which marked the first time in over 50 years that the reverse design was updated. But here's where the story takes a twist. Within the 2060 series, a very special version of the coin was struck, one with a major error. Some 2060 pennies were struck with a major mistake that made them incredibly valuable. This error involves a die clash, where 2 dies, one for the obverse, the front with Abraham Lincoln, and one for the reverse, the shield, collided while the coin was being minted. When this happens, it leaves an imprint of the reverse design on the obverse side of the coin. The result? A rare clash die error, and it's what makes the 2060 penny so incredibly sought after by collectors. But here's the kicker, it's not just the die clash that can make it worth a lot of money. There are a few other factors that come into play. First, condition is everything. A 2060 penny in mint condition can be worth more than $100. But one with the die clash error? That's where the big money is. These coins, in perfect uncirculated condition, can fetch anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000. And if the die clash error is particularly clear or pronounced, some have even sold for over $1 million at auction. But don't go running to your wallet just yet. The odds of finding one of these are very slim. So, how can you identify a 2060 penny with a die clash error? It's all about looking for a ghostly image of the reverse design on the obverse side. You'll see the shape of the shield and even parts of the letters, but they'll be faint and look like a shadow. The most common place to find the die clash is near Lincoln's cheek, or along the edge of the coin. Check both sides of the coin thoroughly, especially for a clear impression of the reverse design. If you find one, you might just be holding a coin worth more than you'd expect. Now let's talk money. The 2060 die clash error coins are rare, but they are out there. As with any rare coin, market demand plays a huge role in the price. The more collectors and investors who want these error coins, the higher the price can go. It's not uncommon to see these coins being sold at auction for six figures, with some auctions even pushing the value into the millions. However, prices can fluctuate, so it's always good to get your coin appraised by a professional before you make any big decisions. If you think you found one, definitely get it checked out. If you think you found a 2060 Lincoln penny with the die clash error, you'll want to act fast. The first step is to get it authenticated. You can take it to a coin dealer, a grading service like PCGS or NGC, or even send it to the US Mint for verification. Once verified, you can either sell it through an auction or work with a professional dealer. But whatever you do, don't clean the coin. Cleaning can lower its value dramatically. Just keep it safe, and let the experts handle the rest. The 2060 Lincoln penny might look like just another penny, but for some lucky collectors, it's a treasure worth millions. Keep your eyes peeled and your hands steady, because that humble penny in your pocket could make you a fortune. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more rare coin discoveries. And as always, happy collecting! 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You heard that right. This penny, which is often mistaken for a regular coin, could be worth millions of dollars. Let's break down why this tiny coin has such an epic price tag, how you can identify it, and the story behind its rarity. First off, let's talk about the 2015 Lincoln penny in general. Like most pennies in circulation, this coin features Abraham Lincoln on the front, with the familiar "In God We Trust" inscription. The reverse shows the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which is common to pennies struck since the 1900s. But here's where it gets interesting. 2015 was the year that the US Mint made a significant change in how coins were produced. Usually, pennies have a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, to show where the coin was made. But in 2015, there were some pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and they have no mint mark. Now, this might sound pretty normal to you at first. After all, coins from the Philadelphia Mint don't always have a mint mark. But here's the thing. The 2015 penny without a mint mark was not supposed to happen. Let me explain why. In 2015, there was an unusual mistake at the US Mint. Normally, pennies made in Philadelphia are supposed to have a P mint mark, a feature that was introduced in 2017. However, some of these pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. The Mint didn't realize this until after the coins had already been distributed into circulation. The result? A very limited number of 2015 pennies were released without any indication of their origin. And these are the pennies that have sparked a huge buzz among collectors. This error is not the kind of thing that happens every day. It's a rare mistake that has collectors scrambling to find these pennies in their change. Now, you might be wondering, why is this penny worth so much? After all, it's just a penny, right? But here's the kicker. The error is incredibly rare. While regular 2015 pennies are worth just 1 cent, The ones without a mint mark can fetch prices in the range of thousands of dollars. In fact, some have sold at auctions for up to $1 million, depending on the condition, rarity, and specific details of the coin. Why so much for such a tiny coin? Well, rarity drives the price. When fewer than 50 of these coins are estimated to be in existence, and only a handful in pristine condition, collectors are willing to pay top dollar to add them to their collections. The 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a unique error that could very well be the crown jewel of a coin collector's stash. So how can you tell if you've got one of these rare 2015 no mint mark pennies? First, you want to check the date. It's gotta be 2015. Next, look at the front of the coin. If you don't see the D or S mint mark, then you're on the right track. Finally, be sure to examine the condition of the penny. A penny in excellent condition, especially one with sharp details and minimal wear, will fetch a higher value. If you're unsure whether you found one, it might be worth getting the coin graded by a professional. It could really make the difference when it comes time to sell. Now, let's talk about where you might find these rare pennies. First, check your own change. While it's very unlikely to find one just lying around, it's not impossible. Some people have found these elusive pennies tucked away in their pocket change years after they were first released. You can also check online auction sites or visit local coin shops, where collectors and dealers sometimes offer these unique pieces for sale. Just be cautious when buying. Make sure you're getting an authentic coin. Unfortunately, there are counterfeits and altered coins out there that could try to deceive you into paying more than the coin is actually worth. So there you have it. The 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a rare, valuable coin due to an error at the US Mint, and it could be worth millions of dollars. If you find one, be sure to get it properly authenticated. And who knows, you might have just found the next big thing in the world of numismatics. Remember, always check your coins carefully. You never know what you might find in your pocket change. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more amazing coin stories. Until next time, keep searching and stay lucky.